Previously on Serafina. If Charli wants to extend the Brat summer, Charli should make a remix album. I really think what will really turn it up to 11 will be a remix album. Can you imagine a remix album of Brat with all of these songs having features of different artists, remixed by different artists? I know that people will love it. It would go off. It would be so iconic. Hello everyone, how are you going today? If you're new to this channel, I'm Serafina. How are you? And if you are a subscriber or a returning viewer, welcome back. I hope that you're doing very well as well. The time has finally come to round up this quote-unquote Brat trilogy on my channel. We are finally going to be talking about the remix album.
On its barbecue shapes. Flavour, you can see.
As we know, back in October last year, Charli released Brat, and it's completely different, but also still Brat, where Charli has remade most of her songs from Brat, rest in peace to Hello Goodbye. Alright. By adding on collaborations with each song. And to see that happen in real time, especially when I was talking a few months prior that Charli should make an album like that, I feel vindicated. I really do. I just feel seen by this actually happening. It is really exciting, and it just adds another extension to the Brat summer around the world, especially here in the Southern Hemisphere. So I thought, how am I going to go about this video? Because I did a reaction with the standard track list back in July. I think it was July. I did a review of the deluxe tracks back in October. So I thought, what can I do for the remix album? And I thought, why not just do a ranking? So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about all these songs from my least favorite to my most favorite song on the album. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to make this a really big video. Also, my thoughts are going to be kept to a minimum just to make things really quick and efficient, and also for editing, because I don't want to make this a long, deep dive into these songs. It's just going to be surface level thoughts and opinions of the songs, and also determining whether or not I like the remix or the original better, or both. Who knows, depending on how great the songs are. So with that being said, before we get into it, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, comment down below, and hit the notification bell. Okay, so with that all being said and done, let's get into this ranking.
Time for a remix!
Right, so let's start off at number 17. So, at number 17, my least favorite song on the album is I Might Say Something Stupid, featuring the 1975 and John Hopkins. I just want to preface by saying that none of these songs are bad. There are obviously some songs that I probably don't like as much and that haven't stuck with me, but that's fine. Some of the songs are not my favorite, but I'm also glad though that I listened to these songs again a few days ago just to know where I stand with these songs, especially for ranking the lower half of the album, because that made all the difference for what was going to go where. I just really feel like, for me, I just found the song a bit boring. I like how the mood of the song switched into almost this beautiful, emotional, almost orchestral piece, I think. I don't know if there were any actual instruments aside from the piano being used, but that's what it felt like to me. The lyrics in the remix flow from the original. It's all much of the same thing. Running your house in a tie, putting my skin into anything.
Huh?
I eat a lot like a fly, I get nervous and sip the wine. I just think the lyrics do get dragged out a bit in between all the instrumental parts, which usually isn't a bad thing depending on the song, but I don't know, for me it doesn't work here. Also, we had to have the obligatory 1975 collab, considering that Charli is dating one of the members of the 1975, to my knowledge. Not Matt Healy though. I know it's definitely not Matt Healy.
I mean, do we really know how old she is under all that makeup? She could be...
Your age.
That's right, she could be close to forget it, Niles.
But I also know the 1975 is the reason why Charli and Rina Sawayama aren't friends anymore, which is sad, but also Rina's reasonings are valid. I just want to clarify, her reasonings are valid. That's a whole can of worms I'm not going to go further into, but regardless, the song's alright, not my favorite. And in the case of which version I like better, obviously the original is better, because I feel like the original really, I don't know, it's like I mentioned in the reaction, the kind of the 8-bit 16-bit aesthetic of the sound kind of fits well with how Charli feels in terms of how she feels in comparison to how she's feeling with everyone else that's around her. I think. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope you know what I mean though. Moving along, at number 16, we have I Think About It All the Time, featuring Bon Iver, which I hope it's Bon Iver. I know that's not Bon Iver. I used to say Bon Iver when I was younger, but no, it's Bon Iver, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, as mentioned in the reaction, I caught on quick on what the story behind I Think About It All the Time. This version also helps to further express Charli's dilemma about wanting to start a family, but she feels like she's running out of time as she's getting older. Even though I'm pretty sure Charli's only a few years older than me. Actually, I don't know what year she was born. And she's at least a few years older than me, but she must be like at least in her early 30s at this point.
Well, yes.
But yeah, she still feels like she's running out of time. And she explains herself very well with the lyrics. She says at one point, first off, you're bound to the album, then you're locked into the promo. Next thing, 3 years have gone by. Me and George sat down and tried to plan for our future, but there's so much guilt involved when we stop working, because you're not supposed to stop when things start working. To me, at least, that really helps to paint the picture of Charli's situation and how she feels about that particular thing that she wants, which is to have a baby and start a family with her boyfriend. Bon Iver's there as well. I can't say much about that because I don't really listen to his music. I only know Skinny Love, that's it.
Sorry to this man.
He's just there. I think he's just kind of there as kind of like padding for the rest of the song, because I feel like Charli does a lot of the heavy lifting with the lyrics, because again, it is quite a personal song. Both versions are. Where for me the lyrics are great, I think the reason why it's number 16 is because of the production. It just falls a bit flat for me, but overall, it's a lot better than I Might Say Something Stupid. So with that being said, I still like the original better than the remix, but it doesn't mean that I am not giving credit where credit is due about the remix in terms of Charli continuing to voice her feelings about her situation. Number 15, we have Rewind featuring Bladee. I must say, I found this remix quite underwhelming. Don't get me wrong, the first 30 seconds I was intrigued, but then for me, it just kind of lost me. It felt like throughout the song, it was building up to something, but then it led nowhere to me. Which is unfortunate because the original version of Rewind is so good. The production on the original is so great. In comparison, the production on the remix is not that great. Lyrically, it's still the same as the original. That's all I've got to say about this remix. So with that, as you probably already know, I like the original better than the remix. As the months have gone on, I've just been loving the original version of Rewind so much more. It is a sleeper hit, in my opinion, on the album. Moving along at number 14, this is probably going to be a hot take, but at number 14, I've got Guess featuring Billie Eilish. Now, before you make any rash decisions, let me explain. I don't like it. I don't know why this song has gone down so much in my ranking, because on paper, it's something really great. It is a really great remix, and it's got Billie Eilish, who I mentioned in the deluxe track. I really liked how we got to see we got to see Billie in that dance club genre, which is something that she is not usually known for. It works well for her. But at the same time, when it comes to Guess, less is more. I feel like that's where the original version shines for me, because all the original version is Charli repeating the verse twice. The second time the beat kicks in, and then I don't know, I think for me, like again, even though I think Billie's verse is great, it just feels a bit weird hearing that as opposed to Charli in that part. I don't know, maybe I just think it's overplayed. Secretly, I don't know. I mean, look, it is the most popular remix out of the entire album. It did give Charli her first #1 single in Australia, so I'm not going to take that away for shit. No way. But I just think, yeah, something about this kind of misses the mark for me. And I don't know if it is Billie, but like the thing is, I do like the fact that Billie's on this song. So I don't know why I don't like it that much. Again, I think I'm just going to stick with probably the fact that I just think less is more. That's kind of what I feel like with this song. With that, surprise, surprise, I like the original better than the remix. I'm not going to take away the successes that came from this remix, but it's still, I don't know. For some reason, I just don't like it that much. Yeah, shocker, I know. At 13, we have Back to Back featuring Tinashe. Now, one thing that I did notice looking back at this remix is that the lyrical context for the remix is different to the original, because I feel like with the original, I feel like Charli is talking about leaving someone and not wanting to go back to them because, I guess from the lyrics in the original, the other person cheated on her. You can run right back to her. I don't want to go right back to you kind of situation.
It's like definitely a
I don't want to go right back to you
kind of situation.
With the remix though, it is entirely different, and it kind of takes on a bit of a Von Dutch approach, in my opinion. You know, Charli and Tinashe are talking about how they've made it in the music industry and just how they feel about all of their successes now, especially from where they started off over a decade ago. I travel around the world to 15 countries in 4 days, and after I get off stage, I'm on set shooting till the AM. I'm fucking tired, but I love it and I'm not complaining. oh shit, I kind of made it. And I love that Tinashe is getting more representation. Tinashe's kind of been on the up and up last year. You know, she released Quantum Baby, which I need to react to, but then I remembered too, that's part of like a 3-part series, isn't it? Kind of like what Beyonce's doing. I do want to get into Quantum Baby, but I might have to wait a bit. But seeing Tinashe in the Brat era, I love that for her. Shout out to Tinashe. This one was a bit of a tough one in terms of which one I like better. I think just by a margin, I like the remix better than the original. I think because of how repetitive the original version is, I've just kind of distanced myself from it, and that's it really. Okay, number 12, we have So I featuring A.G. Cook. This is the main reason why I'm glad I listened back to these songs recently, because this version of So I was at the bottom of my ranking. So I'm glad I changed it because it's now gone up 5 spots, which is fantastic. And I think a really big reason for that is I really just kind of focus more on the lyrics of the song, because as we know, the original version of So I is probably one of Charli's most personal songs she's ever released. How she talks about Sophie and her relationship with Sophie, reminiscing about her after her passing and saying how much of an inspiration she was to her, and how Charli felt like, especially in the later years or throughout her relationship entirely, I don't know, but how she felt like, you know, she wished she spent more time with her. It is one of those things, especially when you lose someone, it is very hard, and you do have those like things where you kind of wish you did more things with them. I feel like everyone who's lost a loved one close to them can relate. What's interesting about the remix is, instead of Charli talking about Sophie in a somber tone and talking about, you know, how she misses her and all like the kind of, not so much melancholic, but in a way of kind of like just remembering her and just feeling grief, the remix just kind of takes it in a different light. It switches it around, it turns the beat around, okay, Gloria Estefan, and she focuses on all the good times that she's had with Sophie. In the beginning of the song, she says, now I want to think about all the good times. First met on the outskirts of Stockholm, all of your things in a black suitcase, first day made vroom vroom in the basement. And that's basically all of the song. It's just Charli like reminiscing all the good times that she's had with Sophie throughout their relationship. The beat is more energetic and the mood is a lot lighter and a lot happier. And again, because she is reminiscing. So I think that's a great continuation of the So I sort of saga. They're all sagas in a sense. For So I, it's definitely really impactful considering the subject matter of the song. I love it. And in my opinion, I think both versions are great. I don't think neither of them are better than the other. I just think both versions really complement each other perfectly. And it just works. It just works. And I think it is definitely a great tribute to Sophie. May she rest in peace. Actually, I listened to more of her music. Maybe that's another person who to do a deep dive on. Maybe 2025 might be the year. Maybe I might even react to Sophie at some point. Wouldn't mind that actually at some point. Moving along, at number 11 we have Club Classics featuring BB Trickz. I don't have an awful lot to say about Club Classics because there isn't much to say. The lyrics in Club Classics is a mixture of Club Classics and 365, so there's not much to say there. I do think that the production of the song is really good. When the beat is a bit harder, that's where the song shines, but aside from that, not much else to say there. The original is better. I just think for me, not only does it work well, the original, but there is a bit more as opposed to the remix where it's kind of almost like a mashup in a sense, but I don't know, for me, it could be worse, but it could also be better. Number 10, we have Mean Girls featuring Julian Casablancas. Question for the culture. Do you think Julian Casablancas has played these games before? I've played this game before. What I do like about the song is the production. I love how they've added a bit of a rock edge to AG's piano melody. I also liked how they made the piano melody the main part of the main like instrumental for the song. Aside from that though, I don't really have much else to say about it. Like, Julian Casablancas is here. I don't really know much about him. Wasn't he in The Strokes? I think. I don't know. I don't listen to The Strokes. I mean, the only thing that I know Julian from is Instant Crush by Daft Punk. Best song on the album. Spoiler alert, before I even react to that album. I don't know if it's me, but with the way the production is designed, it kind of feels like it could have come out in the late 2000s and would blend well with all the other songs that came out from that era. But also, for me, it doesn't compare to the original. The original is really great. Yeah, the original is better than the remix because for me, the original is almost like 2 songs in one. You have like your typical hyperpop beat with like a raw synth bass mixture in the first chorus, but then once you get to the second half of the song, you just have the piano melody. It's still cohesive, but it's kind of takes an interesting turn that, and when I first listened to it, I wasn't expecting, but it works well. Number 9, we have 360 featuring Robyn and Young Lean. One thing that I must commend about this remix is that even though the production is the same as the original, the lyrics are entirely different. Like, there is no callback to the original 360. It's all new lyrics, which is something that I can't really say about Guess. For example, Guess is like a typical like collab remix that we would see nowadays on the charts that would be really popular. Whereas with 360, it's not. When it first came out, I listened to it a bit. I thought it was great. I added it into a few playlists on Spotify. But then when I listened to those playlists, Spotify would just come in and say, hey, you've heard the song a bit already. Why don't you listen to it a bit more? Because you like it. And I would be like, well, no, because I want to listen to all the other songs on the playlist that didn't have a chance to shine yet. And Spotify was like, you are going to listen to this song whether you fucking like it or not. And the next thing you know, it ended up being my 60th most listened to song on my Spotify Wrapped for last year. So that's that. I don't know an awful lot about Young Lean as an artist, so I can't really say much about him, but I do know Robyn. I've heard of Robyn for a while now. Obviously, she has been a really big pop star since the 90s. Stream, do you know what it takes? If you love a bit of mid-late 90s pop music, get into it. And she's also best known for Dancing on My Own, which is probably one of her most well-known hits, and obviously Callum Scott covered it in 2016, whether you like that or not. Starting to get a bit sweaty here, this is not good. So with that being said, my thoughts on this song is I do like the original better than the remix, and the only reason why is because Spotify harassed me with the song to no end in 2024. I'm happy to leave this song in 2024, at least just so that I can have some peace of mind. That's about it, really. Number 8, we have Apple featuring The Japanese House. I don't have an awful lot to say about this song either. What I will say is that I wasn't a big fan of the original version when I listened to it. Still not really. Like, I know it's become really popular since its release. There was the dance on TikTok that everyone was doing, except for me, because I don't really care about TikTok dances. But what I will say about the remix is that I do like the route it takes, because like Apple, the song is 1980s, very spring coded. I don't know if with the remix there's like an added level of like dreamy or airy synths added in, but it just kind of makes the remix more cruisy and more chill than the original. I think I kind of understand the lyrics of Apple in retrospect. I don't know, is it about being stuck in a relationship with another partner and just like trying to figure out whether or not you should leave them or not? I don't know. I don't think I care about the song enough, but I will say I like this version. Is this the first time actually on this list? No, I think it's the second time that I like the remix better than the original, because even though the original version of Apple is successful and one of the most popular songs on the album, I think the remix is so much better. And you can't change my mind about that. Alright, now we're moving into the top 7. These are the best songs on the album, in my opinion. At number 7, we have the A.G. Cook remix of Von Dutch featuring Addison Rae. Now, this being the very first remix to come out from this era and for the album, it was quite surprising seeing Addison Rae come back with Charli for the remix and to be in the Brat era, considering that Charli featured on To Die For Addison Rae, which, if you haven't already, please stream. It's too good for words. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like Charli's kind of taken Addison under her wing in terms of like being like a pop girl, because again, Charli featured on Addison's song. Now she's featuring on the Von Dutch remix with A.G. Cook. Considering that Addison's really coming into her own as a pop girl, which we'll get to in a second, I don't know, I just think that's quite awesome. The remix of Von Dutch is on its own level in terms of like, at least for me, the production. The production goes a lot harder than the original version, but it's still Von Dutch. It's still talking about the same things that the originals talk about, which is basically like, you know, how I'm your number one, whether you love me or hate me, you're obsessed with me. Where have I heard that from? Oh, Mean Girls, I guess, essentially. But that's like not about her, but it's about someone else.
You're obsessed with me, and I love it.
Every time my track drops, you're jealous. I'm just living that life. While you're sitting in your dad's basement, but you're disappointed that I'm shining. You just wanna scream my name on and on. And Addison's got a bit to say as well about people talking about her. Got a lot to say about my debut, about my constant revenue. I guess it makes sense because I'm just living that life. Yeah, like, you know, considering people were talking about Obsessed a lot when it dropped back in, when was it, 2021? And then she just kind of dropped that and dipped, and then she came back with the AR EP 2023. And now 2024, she's blossomed into her own pop girl aesthetic. If you were to tell me 3-4 years ago that Addison Rae was not only going to be a pop girl and make great music, and also frequently collabs with Charli XCX, I would have laughed at you, because I would be like, what do you mean Addison Rae, the TikTok dancer, is a pop girl? But stranger things have happened. I mean, literally, it has happened. It's got 4 seasons. And Die Pepsi has become her most popular song. And please stream Aquamarine if you haven't already, because that is, in my opinion, the better song out of the two. But it's... oh, God, I didn't think it was gonna really hook into me that deeply. But you know what? I'm not mad at it. Addison's got a direction and she's sticking down that path. I'm can't wait to see what comes next for her. Enough about that though.
She can talk.
The synth and the bass in that song is so good, especially towards the end where it just really ramps up. Oh, it is delicious. And the most iconic part in the entire song, Addison's vocoded scream, is... it's something to behold. It is something to behold, and I'll just leave it like that. In the case of which version I like better, honestly, both versions are great. Because Von Dutch is the lead single from this era, and when it came out, it was great. And the remix is just as great as being the first to come out from this album. They both mirror each other perfectly. Different energies, but it works so well because it just does. It really does. Number 6, we have Everything Is Romantic featuring Caroline Polachek. You know, considering that Everything Is Romantic is, from memory, I think my least favorite song on the album, having the remix be at 6th is something that I'm shocked about initially, but that just goes to show the direction of the remix production-wise and where it was going, and it really just kind of took a different turn lyrically, because the lyrical context of the song is almost played out as if, I mean, I don't know if this is something that actually happened. It probably has. It's kind of like as if, you know, Charlie's chatting with Caroline over the phone and, you know, just kind of like almost like venting or like just getting advice from Caroline. Charlie says in the lyrics, I'm trying to shut off my brain. I'm thinking about work all the time. I feel smothered in logistics, need my fingerprints on everything, trying to feed my relationship. Am I in a slump? Am I paying back time? Did I lose my perspective? Everything's so romantic, right? It's kind of still going on the themes of like romantic things from the original version, but I think there's something a lot deeper in the remix, and the production itself is so different because, you know, whereas with the original version is very whimsical and then just kind of like energetic and towards the middle, the remix, to me, it feels very dim, very cozy, and very reserved, which is so unlike the original version. It's a beautiful contrast. Why did I say it like that? Oh, I'm assuming, based on these lyrics, it feels like Charlie is struggling to find a healthy work-life balance at the moment. That's what I'm taking away from the lyrics. And as always, Caroline's voice is amazing. All I can say is, you know, ever since listening to Welcome to My Island back in 2023, I've just kind of been having my ears on the lookout for Caroline whenever she releases new music. Last year, Spring Is Coming with a Strawberry in Its Mouth was fantastic. It is one of my favorite songs from last year, and I just love it. So having Caroline and her vocal runs, especially towards the end of the song, it just ties in the song so perfectly. It's very, again, like I said, cozy and reserved. It's very soft. And with that being said, obviously, I love the remix better than the original so much more. This is like the biggest like difference between loving a remix to the original. And I'm happy with that because the original version for me was a bit of a letdown, so I'm glad that the remix really carried the rest of that weight for its sake. Okay, we are on to the top 5 now. Number 5, we have Spring Breakers featuring Kesha. I must say though, I'm really glad that I didn't film this immediately after the album came out, because this song came out at least a week after the album came out, and then Charlie was like, oh, forgot to add this to the album. Kesha was another artist that, look, honestly, at first I'm like, wow, I'm shocked that you're here, girly, but also, you deserve to be in the Brat era. You know, considering that Kesha had a really great 2024, becoming a free woman and an independent artist, releasing 2 songs currently, obviously Joyride being one of the best songs from last year, and also Delusional being a great song too. Can we just address that for a second? Going back to Spring Breakers though, it is under the same vein of like Guess. What I like more about Spring Breakers as opposed to Guess is that Charlie let Kesha take over the verses, which I love, and we got to hear more of Kesha, and also we got to see more of like the old school Kesha, the animal cannibal era Kesha, which is always great to sort of hear, and having her be like that now. As a free woman, I feel so proud of Kesha, of how far she's come. All these bitches rip off, wish they could be OG, they not. We going psycho, we going off, yeah, me and Charlie, we the party girl gods. Which I have to remind myself, yes, Kesha is the OG party girl. Like, just listen to TikTok. And it's all there. It's definitely a full circle moment. I think that's what I'm trying to say out of all this. This is definitely a full circle moment for Kesha, considering how she started off as like this party girl who just loves to party and do whatever the fuck she wants to do and just get fucked up. And now coming back 15 years later, after everything she's gone through, and just teaming up with another big party girl. The more I think about it, the more I feel like Kesha being on Spring Breakers is the only choice, in my opinion. I think it just works, and just the song itself and the production, it just fits Kesha's personality so well. So love that for you. I love that for Kesha. I love that for us as well, that we got to hear it and experience it, and we get to listen to it. Both versions are as great as the other. I don't think one is better than the other. That's that on that. Number 4. We have Girl So Confusing featuring Lorde. Now, I'm not going to speak a lot about this version because I've already spoken a lot about it in my reaction to Brat. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on this remix, please go check that reaction out as well, because it's also a great reaction. Considering the lore that's behind Girl So Confusing, I will reiterate that I think having Lorde come on the remix to work it out was perfect. The fact that they were able to do that and I guess start to heal the relationship connecting through the song is beautiful. Women raising each other up in the music industry, that's what we need to see more of. Let's stop putting women down in the music industry in 2025. Period. I love how Lorde got to express a lot of her side in the remix. It's almost kind of like a call and response remix, because like charli in the original is talking about her side of the story, but then in the remix charli is kind of like saying her side, and then Lorde comes back with her response and like her side of the story. You'd always say let's go out, but then I cancelled last minute. I was so lost in my head and scared to be in your pictures, because for the last couple of years I've been at war with my body. I tried to starve myself thinner, but then I gained all the weight back. Lorde came into the remix ready and ready to go. There was so much that she said with the amount of time she was in that verse, and I guess it really just helped to finally get both sides of the story. Look, in my opinion, even though I still think the original version is great, I just think the remix is so much better because of, again, the context and the lore behind this song. Having Lorde come into the remix was so perfect, and it just made an already great song even greater. Number 3, we have Sympathy Is a Knife featuring Ariana Grande. Out of all of the collaborations in this album, the one that I wasn't expecting at all was fucking Ariana Grande. When the track list came out, I was gagged that Ariana was in here. What do you mean Ariana's gonna be doing a bit of hyperpop? Hello? When it comes to this remix, I don't know. I hope people understand what I'm trying to say here, but it feels like a part 2 to Sympathy Is a Knife. You know how with some songs there is like a part 1 and a part 2 to a song, and it's kind of like a continuation. When I think about that, I think of like Independent Women by Destiny's Child, and it has a part 1 and a part 2 on Survivor, but obviously part 1 is the more successful version because it was released as a single. That's how I kind of feel like with Sympathy Is a Knife, because the production in Sympathy is similar to the original version. It still separates itself as a remix. You could probably link it together and it would almost feel like it would be like one whole song. You know what I mean? I hope you guys know what I'm trying to get at here. But lyrically, again, same context as the original, about charli feeling very insecure about herself and feeling like the sympathy that she gets when she's feeling like shit does her more harm than good. You know, all the sympathy is a knife. It's a knife when you're finally on top, because logically the next step is they want to see you fall to the bottom. And again, kind of bringing on themes of people being jealous of you and praying for your downfall. And Ariana's got a lot to say in the song as well, you know, considering what she's gone through. It's a knife when they're counting on your mistakes. It's a knife when you're so pretty they think you must be fake. God, fucking hell. It's a knife when they dissect your body on the front page. It's a knife when they don't believe you. Why should you explain? With those lyrics, and especially with the one about dissecting her body on the front page, it gives me Yes and vibes. It is another way for Ariana to sort of like talk about how people have been perceiving her over the last couple of years, especially with the, you know, the things that she said and especially done. No matter how you sound, especially with her and Ethan Slater, Glinda and Bach.
Hi.
Okay. Look, do with that what you will. That whole situation was messy. I'm not going to get into that again. The production is fantastic. I love like the last 5 seconds where you feel like it's going to end, but then it's like comes back with more like, I don't know if it's the synth or the bass, or it's like a mixture of the two towards the end. It is really great. And like at this point, like the top 3, it's so hard to determine which one's my favorite, but considering the next 2 that we're going to talk about, this song is really great. So both versions are great. I'm not going to sit here and say that neither of them are better than the other, because they both are equally as great as each other. And that's it. Okay, so at number 2, we have Talk Talk featuring Troye Sivan. Now, this song initially was my number 1, but since then, things have changed. It's no surprise that charli has collabed with Troye again. And one thing that I do want to say about this version of Talk Talk is that along with producers that have collabed with charli on Brat, Styles Fuego is also one of the producers who was a big part in producing Something to Give Each Other by Troye. So it feels like this version of Talk Talk should be a deluxe track on Troye's album. The lyrics are much of a muchness from the original. The beat drop in the chorus gives me life so much. Like, just the way it just kind of like freezes and then it just kind of goes into it. That's what got me the most out of everything else in this song. And the fact that we got an uncredited appearance by Dua Lipa talking to us in French and talking to us in Spanish. No comment. Both versions are great. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The original version of Talk Talk makes me feel so good, but the remix also just makes me feel like a bad bitch. That's it. I don't have much else to say about the song because like it just speaks for itself really. So that leaves us with my number one song on the album. If you've come this far, then you probably have no surprise as to what it is. Number one, 365 featuring Shygirl. It's so simple yet effective. Lyrically, not too much different to the original. Just a bit of a copy paste of the original 365 along with, you know, Shygirl having her bit in the middle. For me, what really gets me is the beat drop. The beat drop goes so fucking hard. Oh, it just goes off. Like for me, the original version is iconic. I get that. But the remix takes it up like 7-8 notches and just really just goes all out. Balls to the wall with the bass and the beat drop, both beat drops toward in the beginning and the end. I just want to like get up and shake my ass when it comes on. Like that's what makes me feel like doing. And it is a party song. It is a party girl song. I love it. That's why it's my number one song. Again, even though the original version is like iconic and it's probably one of the more well-known songs on the album, I definitely feel like the remix is so much better because in my opinion, yeah, the original is great, but you know, there is a point for me where I just kind of, I'm like, you know, it's good, but it's not one of the best songs on the album for me. Whereas with the remix, for a album like Brat, it pushes it to a place where it needed to go and I just couldn't be happy with it. I love it so much. I really do. What the fuck's that noise? I feel like I'm hearing things outside, but I don't know what's going on. So that is my ranking of Brat and it's completely different, but also still Brat. I'm happy that I finally got around to this. What a way to essentially wrap up the Brat era. Like, I don't know how much longer she is going to push this era for. I'm curious to see now what Charli's going to do like for her next era moving forward because who knows? I think this could essentially be Charli's magnum opus. When we look back at Charli's career, we can easily say that Brat is probably one of her most prolific and successful albums and eras ever. And we probably will say that. I mean, she's still going to make great music moving forward in the future, but I think this is going to go down in history as one of her best eras ever. If you've come this far, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you're enjoying my content, please subscribe. It will be greatly appreciated. Comment down below what are your favorite remixes on the album and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified on when I upload next. Again, I'm happy that I've made this video. Finally, I can put this Brat trilogy, I can finally put the Brat era to rest on my channel. Get ready because I've got more content coming up in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully they'll come out in the next couple of weeks. Until then, take care of yourself, treat yourself, do what makes you feel good, and love yourself. And I will see you all very soon. See you later.
Suit.